Welcome to the Drug Pronunciation Series here on the Pharmacist Voice podcast. I am your host, Ohio pharmacist Kim Newlove. This is episode 360, and you can find the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. We're going over two pronunciations today. They are Kisunla and Donanemab-azbt. I would like to thank my fellow Ohio pharmacist, Dr. Megan Hall, for inspiring this episode. She doesn't know I'm doing this, but here's the backstory. Dr. Hull mentioned Kisunla at the mid-year meeting of the Ohio Pharmacists Association last month in November 2025. As I record this, it is December 10th, 2025, so about a month ago. I'm in this CE session, and Dr. Hull starts talking about dementia treatment. So the title of her CE was actually, Don't You Remember? A Review of Dementia Treatment. I thought it was a cute title. So anyways, Dr. Hull is talking, and she did a great job, but when she mentioned Kisunla, I realized I hadn't heard of that one yet. So that gap in my knowledge inspired me to select Kisunla for this week's episode. Thank you very much, Dr. Megan Hull. As a reminder, we don't cover pharmacology in this series, it's just pronunciations. Let's go with the brand name first. Kisunla has 3 syllables. That's kih, like kiss, sun, like sunshine, and la, like lullaby. Emphasize that middle syllable, sun. See if you can hear the emphasis when I say it again. Kisunla. My source for the written pronunciation is the medication guide for Kisunla, which you can find on kih-SUHN-lah.com. That's kih-SUHN-lah, Kisunla.lilly, Lilly.com, kisunla.lilly.com. And if you'd like to hear someone other than myself say Kisunla, listen to the patient testimonial video on that same website, kisunla.lilly.com. That does it for Kisunla. Now let's talk about that biologic name. It doesn't have a brand name, generic name going on here. There's a brand name, and then there's the biologic name. So the biologic name is Donanemab-azbt. Please note that this is a biologic drug, so Donanemab-azbt is not a generic name. It's the biologic name, and when a lower cost version comes out, that will have a biosimilar name. So it'll end up being Donanemab and then 4 different letters, not AZBT. I hope that makes sense. I'm really new to these. They were not out. Biologics and biosimilars were not out when I graduated in 2001, but I hope that makes sense. And now let's talk about the pronunciation, because that's what these episodes are about. Donanemab has 4 syllables, and you can add the 4 letters at the end separate from Donanemab. So it's Donanemab-azbt. A little slower, that's doe-NAN-e-mab, azbt. It's not asbd, it's azbt. Let's break down those syllables for Donanemab. That's doe, as in a female deer, doe, nan, like the woman's name, Nancy, which is a short E sound or a schwa E sound, and mab, which is the stem or suffix for a monoclonal antibody. Monoclonal antibody, of course, is abbreviated MAB, mab. Emphasize NAN. See if you can hear that syllable emphasized when I say it again. Donanemab. When Dr. Hull talked about Donanemab during her CE session at the Ohio Pharmacists Association mid-year meeting, she said the full thing just once or twice, Donanemab-azbt, and then she dropped the azbt, I presume, for simplicity's sake. Now, after watching several videos about Kisunla, because I've been curious about it, I would say that most healthcare professionals seem to drop that azbt too. Some of them even right out the gate. So if you want to drop the azbt when you talk about Donanemab in conversation, be my guest. You're in good company. My source for the written pronunciation is the USP Dictionary Online. But there is also an identical pronunciation on medlineplus.gov. Again, we're talking about the written pronunciation where they chop up the syllables and they show you which syllable to emphasize. I trust both references, so if you're going to look this up, go with whichever one you have access to. You have to subscribe to the USP Dictionary Online, so you have to pay money to use it, or you can just use medlineplus.gov for free. Again, use whichever one you have access to. If you'd like to hear someone other than me say Donanemab, I have a link to an MD PhD named Dr. Ronald Petersen saying Donanemab on Mayo Clinic's YouTube channel. So that's in the show notes for episode 360 on the pharmacistvoice.com. That does it for Donanemab, and that's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening to the 69th episode in my drug pronunciations series. The show notes are on the pharmacistvoice.com. In the show notes, you will find the written pronunciations for Kisunla and Donanemab-azbt, links to my sources, links to the other 68 episodes in this drug pronunciation series, my social media links, and more. There are always tons and tons of links in my show notes. Check those out on the pharmacistvoice.com. If you know someone who would like to learn how to say Kisunla or Donanemab or Donanemab-azbt, go ahead and share this episode with them. And if you like this podcast, come on back. We've got a lot more coming up in 2025 and January 2026. Subscribe to or follow the Pharmacist Voice podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening today. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.